back with the review of the latest Malayalam film KURUTHI, being streamed in Amazon Prime Movies, which has Prithiviraj, Mamukkoya, Roshan, Mathew and others in the cast, with the film being directed by the famous Manu, Warrior. The music has been scored by none other than Jaihind. The story has been written by Anish Palyal and cinematography directed by Abhinandan Ramanujam. Now the film is a crime suspense thriller based on the premise of hate and revenge between two communities in Kerala. Now the story begins rather slowly with the protagonist, played by Roshan Mathew, who loses his family due to a landslide in the hilly terrains somewhere in Kerala. For the next 30 minutes or so, it's about how he is hounded by the memories of his wife and child, who he lost because of the landslide. Well, the story takes a sudden turn when the life of the protagonist, his family members and his lady love are pushed into a rather dangerous situation when one night a police officer barges into their house with a convict, because few people are hell-bent on killing the convict, because the convict had killed the villain's father some time ago. In other words, the movie moves into top gear and it becomes more interesting when the villain enters the scene, played by none other than the dynamic Prithiviraj. When I look back at the rather slow start to the movie, it was just a lull before the storm, to put it plainly. The rest of the story is all about how the protagonist and the villain try to outwit each other to have their way. Can the villain get his revenge, or can the protagonist protect the convict? I wouldn't like to disclose, because then the suspense would be taken away. To add, the storyline had the perfect plot with unprecedented twists, turns and suspense, which kept me on the edge of my seat. In short, a job very well done by the story writer Anish Palyal. Basically, the movie is nothing short of a psychological action thriller unfolding right in front of the viewer's eyes. Now, coming to the cast and their performances in the film, as always, Prithiviraj has indeed breathed life into his role as the villain in a classy way. And equally matched as the protagonist was Roshan Mathew. Mamukkoya, to my knowledge, has never failed to deliver in any of his previous movies, and in this movie too he has rocked as the father of the protagonist. In short, everyone who has been cast in the movie have done justice to their roles to make sure this movie ends up being a worthy watch for the viewers. Finally, coming to the screenplay, the director has taken special care to give this film KURUTHI a good flow without any deviations in the film. Now, one particular area of the story I felt that the director fell miserably short was the scene where the villain enters the house and starts to command the inmates of the house to hand over his father's killer. Hearing this commotion, the police officer comes out with a loaded gun in hand and just merely sits across the table and negotiates with the villain, which I felt was not logical, because here was a policeman who was waylaid by the same person and attacked earlier in the forest, and whose constables were killed by him, which made the police officer to seek refuge with the convict in the protagonist's house. Also, as he is negotiating with the villain, he allows another member of the villain's gang to enter the house and coolly sit next to him. Was a little too weird, to be very honest. To be precise, no policeman in proper sanity, that too with a loaded gun in hand, would allow a person to dictate terms to him when the very same person had tried to neutralize him in the forest to get to the convict. But for this faux pas, everything was on track, in my humble opinion. When I look at the action scenes, I believe it was very well choreographed by the stunt director, which needs special mention here. Looking at the background music and songs in the film, Jaihind has indeed impressed me a lot. Well, the director of cinematography, Abhinandan Ramanujam, has brought to life every scene which needs a big round of applause, especially the last scene wherein the villain chases the convict to try and avenge his father's death was indeed nail-biting for sure. In conclusion, all I can say is that the movie KURUTHI has indeed brought out the acting talent and prowess of the entire cast. And special mention about Prithiviraj, who did prove once again that he can be as versatile he can get to be. The director and his team have given the audience an entertaining and suspenseful psychological thriller which harps on the premise of hate and revenge. A job very well done, Manu, Warrier. Congratulations. Further, I would give this movie a 7 on 10, which means please do watch the film, which is being streamed on Amazon Prime Movies as I speak without fail, because it sure is a nerve-wracking thriller. Well, I hope you enjoyed my review of the movie, and please do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Until I get back with another review of a movie, it's take charge, be good, and always do good. Jaihind.